Welcome back everybody into another daily recap. Today is Monday, start of the week, and it's the 27th of February. As we're going to see here, this was the analysis on gold coming into pre-New York session, understanding that we were in a sort of big range. We can identify the order block lows and highs, 1813 being the top of the order block and 1807, 1808 being the low of the order block. So I was mainly looking for sells. I was only looking for sells below 1807.5, and I was looking for buys either at the bounce of 1807.5, either at PSA 1809 or above 1813.6. It was important to notice that at 8:30 a.m. Eastern, we had the durable goods data and the report coming up, so it was something to take into consideration before jumping in any trade. So let's go into the actual New York session. As you can see here, we can identify that we were in this order block. As I told you, we were into this range, and what we see is that we have pretty much nothing up until 8:30. Well, that's when we have the report coming up, and it's very bad, showing very bad data. That means weakness for gold. Sorry, weakness for USD. That means bullish on gold. We can see that my pre-plan analysis was the bounce from this level, 1809, but I could have switched into a more aggressive stance and identified that we were still retesting these previous lows. It's not a PPL, but it was these previous lows retested multiple times after being broken. Like this was the resistance turning into support, and with the confirmation of the bullish fundamental bias, could have been an easy, not easy, but a very aggressive, but still fundamentally sound entry for buys. What I was looking for as per pre-plan analysis, as I told you, were the buys above 1813. So that's where actually my nice entry happened, the actual real entry. So this was, as I said, my first trade was a buy limit that I placed at this level. Let me just show you to you. Yeah, buy limit activated. The only thing is, okay, yeah, that's when I saw it, and I stay into this drawdown. We can identify here. Let me just remove this stuff. Buy limit activated. I stayed into this drawdown because my stop loss was above this candle. So that's where I was saying, okay, if the candle, this bearish candle, very aggressive, breaks below this level, then my trade idea is invalid because this one was a fake out. But if the actual candle rejects it and stays above, then we can still continue bullish. So when I saw the price action closing bullish, I was sort of relieved. The only thing is that I saw multiple rejection at these highs. Look at this engulfing bearish candle. So when this bullish candle was at its peak, around 7 pips in profit, that's when I took out my trade. That was actually I would say a mistake, because yes, it's a scalp, can be 7 pips, yes, yada yada yada, but my final TP was 20 pips, a nice and 2-to-1, because I risked 10 pips, so at least a 2-to-1 should have been there. But since I was afraid to lose profits at a further rejection, I already placed, to be honest, I already placed the stop loss at break even right below this candle. So I was also essentially risk free. But yeah, the fear of losing profits and ending up with a zero trade, that's what made me close the trade. And in the next 3 minutes, that's when I would have gone to my TP. So first trade was this one. This is the actual trade. Then, as you can see here, that's where I have my second trade taken. So yeah, this one is the same. Okay. Yeah, that was the original TP at 1-2-1. Then I have the sort of useless trade. So if you can see here, let me just do like this. Let me cancel this one. Let me hide this one. There you go. So that I can, okay, this one, at least I can grab it. Okay. And then remove everything. So the second one was simply a stupid trade, useless. The only thing is that, okay, so I saw that we had this price action. So yes, we were in a bullish trend, but I saw this huge rejection, further consecutive bearish candles, a break and a retest below this level. Yeah, that's why. That would have been look better. The only thing is that I was doing here. So I saw one strong candle rejection, a bearish one, a retest closing below the PPL, a second one closing below the PPL, and I was anticipating a possible continuation bearish, at least for 10 pips. My TP was 10 pips because my stop loss was above here. So my stop loss was like 5 to 6, 7 pips, I would say, from my entry, aiming for a more or less 1-to-1 risk to reward, because I was almost sure about it. And that's my issue, because I was looking for the retest and retracement of this overall bullish move. I was looking to take advantage of like the pullback to these previous lows before continuation bullish. So it's not that stupid, but it is stupid, because now it's also the new 4-hour candle. I was also hoping that the new 4-hour, and it's something that can happen, will just give me, instead of immediately this push, give me first a lower wick before then the continuation bullish, before showing you this sort of price action that happens multiple times if you backtest it. But yeah, that was basically a useless. I wouldn't say that it's stupid, it was just useless, because it was not necessary to look for sells during this day. Then what I saw, I didn't take any further trade through the session, but I identified these over order block. As you can see here, we are creating an order block at these previous highs. As you can see here, we are failing to make any low. Yes, there's very strong bearish candle, but still failing to make new lows. So when I saw this actual candle closing bullish and the subsequent one staying over there, that's when I started to see a bullish possible continuation. And this would have been a perfect entry, but you can also identify this bearish candle, how it was strong bearish, but it rejected and closed with a strong rejection above the PPL. You can also identify that there is no need for the lower wick on the following candle. Why? Why there's no need for this in this bullish candle? Because this lower wick probably happened in the last seconds of this bearish one. So that's when with this liquidity and momentum, it was coming up. Even if it's not in the last, if it's not in the new candle, being in the previous one in the last few seconds makes absolutely sense. And that's where we could have had further continuation. Still 2-to-1 risk reward, 10 pips for 20 pips is absolutely fine, just to target this previous high, because we don't know if the price will actually end up breaking above that. So as a scalper, what I'm targeting is always here. I'm not targeting the previous highs because I'm targeting at least 2-to-1. Here I'm targeting the previous highs, and these are 2-to-1. Here I will be targeting the previous highs. So as you can see here, this one, and this is just the PSA. We can also target these previous highs as well. So oopsie. Again, identifying strong rejection, but we are now into New York Stock Exchange, and look at the price action. What are we failing to break? Again, for the multiple time, we are failing to break this PSA. We are failing to make a new low. If we look at the market structure, Yes, it's not the prettiest, but are we making any are we making any new lower low? Are we seeing any candle closing below this level, making new lows, retesting the PSA, or retesting this previous PSA price action and continuation down? No, we are only seeing bullish confirmations and double bottoms, continuation, liquidity grab, and then continuation. So that's absolutely interesting, and that's absolutely that it's really necessary to take advantage of and avoid counter trading, as it's actually so tempting. And I talk from the heart, it's too tempting for me. That's why I look for stupid sells like here, just to hope that a new 4 hour will give me an opportunity. Here, I identify that the price action was very weak at this PPL. We were forming a sort of, you can see it here, we were forming a curve, because you can see it here, how it's slowing down. The price action is really slowing down and then give you the confirmation. What my best entry would have been here, exactly like my entry was here. For the sells or for the buys even, as the PSA is this one, my entry is here. My PSA is this one, my entry is there. My PSA or PPL is here, my entry is there. It's not like I don't want as a scalper to enter here at the first candle confirmation. Yes, it might work, but look at what is the stop loss. The stop loss would be 15 pips, and I will need 45 pips to be 3 to 1, or 30 something pips to be 2 to 1. That makes the range way higher, way bigger, and not really as scalping wise. Because then what do I do if I see multiple rejection at this level, at this previous highs, and I haven't taken any partials? So I will be very doubting if I want to take out less than 2 to 1, I don't know. So it's really the best entry over there, because it's a high risk, high reward, but it's actually lower risk. That's where you have the lower risk, because if you have a lot of space, a lot of time to trade manage here compared to taking your entry over there and be already in drawdown from the next candles. So it makes much more sense, even if though it's harder to do that. That's what I'm actually working towards, to take this entry, understanding the weakness at these specific levels and the overall bullish bias. So the level is not being broken, the market structure is still intact, the PSA is being intact, and the trend is bullish. So those are all the confirmation that I need to take further entries. And again, what another strong confirmation is when we actually see a breakout. Yes, we see 1818 being a strong rejection candle, and a couple more bearish candles showing very much strong bearish action. But yes, that's where I could be fooled. But okay, we are 1818, strong PSA, that's absolutely a sell. So already I will not follow this, I will not take this buy, because it's very likely that it's going to be a strong rejection. No, I take it, because unless the market proves me wrong, I should be taking the same bias trades. So for example here, that's when we have a strong bullish confirmation. So let me just do this for the previous one. That's absolutely a nice trade, and the same one. We can enter here. Why? What are the confirmation? Okay, the confirmation are as follow. So we are in a bullish bias. We are failing to break these previous lows, these previous highs on the left hand side. So the market structure is intact. This is very clear-cut textbook trade, because these are the previous highs, and the retest is actually exactly at this previous highs. And in this case, if you waited for a candle confirmation, that's where you could have missed the trade completely. But that, okay, the bearish candle is closing at the PSA, is closing there, my trade idea is valid, I enter. Maybe I could enter over there so that I have a stop loss to put below over here, but it's still, now, I mean, 10 pips is a lot. It's a lot. Yes, if I take 5 pips and then the price stops me out and then was just a liquidity to this level, to these previous highs or to this PPL, yeah, it's fine. But as a scalper, that's not what I want. Still, it could be a 4-to-1 risk to reward. If you take 5 pips stop loss, that's more than a 4-to-1 risk to reward. And it's a couple of candles, just taking advantage of what? Of the overall volume, because now this is the 10 a.m. candle, and that's known that it can do this bullish, this strong volume candle. Of course, at the same time, could have done like this, like the new 4 hour over here could have done this before going up. The 10 a.m. candle could have make a lower wick, taking you out, and then a continuation up. So that's main. Okay, if I want to take these trades as a scalper, I really need to focus and be, okay, this trade was taken out, but I'm not stupid. This trade idea was not stupid. Let's see. Okay, I'm taken out here. I take my loss and it's fine. Okay, let me just do that. Okay, I take a loss, but then I see that price action is actually showing me that we are retesting these previous lows. So we are seeing like this, and we are seeing weakness. You can already see the line, the size of the line is getting smaller and smaller. Maybe then we see some sort of bullish confirmation. If I didn't enter already, taking advantage of this multiple failing to break below, I would enter over there with a bullish trend, because we are still maintaining a bullish trend. We are still in a bullish market structure. It's just that the 10 a.m. candle needed some more liquidity before making a lower wick before going back up. That's exactly what happened here. New York Stock Exchange needed more liquidity to be grabbed at 1815 before the continuation up. Didn't just spike up and resume the trend. It's not that simple, I would say. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Then what we saw was a strong rejection at 1820, which is a very strong PSA on the 15, on higher time frames is a strong PSA. That's where the price could have grabbed some liquidity and gone for some, we could have gone also for some sell scalp. But okay, let's try to identify, let's see, this is just a regular level. When and why should I start looking for sells? Okay, we are in a bullish bias. Let's do like this. Okay. Okay, we are in a very nice and bullish trend. Okay, it's tapping 1820, so now I'm not only looking for sells. No, I'm still looking for buys. If this PSA is not broken, we can still jump back up, grab liquidity, and continuation up, retest the same highs at least. If we go down there, you have a nice stop loss, and then you have a 2-to-1 TP. It can even go down here and still be bullish. So what we need to see some bearish price action, we would like to need either a nice double top over here, and then a break below 1818, possibly a break below these previous lows on the left hand side, and this will be your first high risk, high reward entry. Safer would be below this level, because you see price action, we are closing below these previous highs on the left hand side, and then a continuation down. Safest will only be below 1815 and the break below these previous lows, and strong candle confirmation, a strong shift in market structure visible in the actual charts. So now we don't see a double top. we see now, for now, a break below 1818. This could be a retest, very aggressive. Let's see if we will have some further candle confirmation about it. No, this was a one single candle confirmation. So there you go. So this one was the trade idea. The only way you could have entered was at this break, as I told you, below these previous highs and PPL. There you go. First trade entry that you could have taken. Let me just place a short. 15 pips if you want to be very, very safe. You could also take 10 pips and then just simply target those previous lows on the left hand side. And you can see that with volume, that's what we are getting. Let's see if we are getting any further safer sell. You saw, okay, this one, as I told you before, here, safest entry is a high risk, high reward entry already played out, as you can see, because the retest was not also, this retest of these previous lows is also giving you the best risk to reward ratio. There's a nice 10 pips. And yes, you can target here, this is 25 pips, you can target these previous lows. It's almost a 3-to-1 risk to reward ratio. Yeah, you can easily get a 3-to-1 or the safer below this level. And let's see if we get some further, like here. Let's see if we get some nicer, some nice candles. Some nice possible entries. This is the first sell, second sell. Okay. Let's see if what we get below 1815. Okay, below 1815 we only get a spike down, so that will be I would say too aggressive to enter. There's no real confirmation. It will only be 10 pips. So now when we see this huge shift, that's when we can start to be okay. Now the price made a new lower low. So what I'm going to wait for is actually a pullback. So I'm waiting for either a 50%, 61% or a deeper pullback at 75%. So let's see what the actual retracement will be. So I will place my tool like this and then start to see the price action. So we see that this is a nice confirmation. It's not a 50%, nothing. This is likely a 30-40%, but it's a strong PPL. It's not really unnecessary. Yes, it's actually, you can say that is these previous highs on the left hand side, but doesn't really matter too much. So I wouldn't take any trade over here, even if I know that it will now reject it and go back. Maybe what you could have done would have been, okay, this first stop I will not enter, but seeing these first three and then further failure to make a new high, then that would have been a possible scalp entry to take advantage on the downside. It's still a 20 pip range, and I will now be very careful at this retest and rejection, possible double bottom at this area, because what we are seeing is that, okay, this was possibly a strong PSA. Yes, we are still bearish, but let's see, do we make a double bottom or do we continue bearish? That's very important to understand, and let's see about it. So let's see what actually the price action is telling us. Okay, for now it looks like, okay, it looks like we actually went down to the PSA, still making a new lower low on the 1 minute, but showing strong rejection. Of course, now we are now after London close, so the volume is not that much. But this bounce at this same level is not really something interesting. It's not really, I wouldn't enter buys unless I was still sticking to the same bias, but we are still making new lower lows. If I want to stick only for buys, something that I will do is, okay, let's look at the bullish move, the overall bullish move that happened through the day. This is the last low on the sort of high time frame. If we look at the overall New York session, this is the last low and this is the last high. So 1820, 1810, it's a nice 10 pip range, 100 pips range. So that's okay. First of all, that's why you could have entered your first buys at this level, but it would have been very, very short-lived. It would be like a 18, 17 pip win with a possible stop loss of like 9. So not really a 2-to-1, I would say. Yeah, maybe yes. And of course, looking at the key level, which is conveniently at 75% retracement for possible continuation buys. So what I'm saying is bullish price action. We are in a bullish bias overall because we are making a new higher high. I'm looking for the retracement 75 for the continuation up. So let's see what actually happens. Okay, we see now still price action. You can see candles are closing at this level. So that's why you could have taken further sell scalps if you were taking scalps, and taking down to, that would be like 18 pips still, down to this 75% retracement. Okay, now what we see is that we have 75% tapped and then candle confirmation. Now, of course, now we are still in a very strong bearish price action. So I don't know if I will actually take this buy over here, just solely based on a 75% retracement. If I was sticking to the buys from here, from there, from these buys, from these buys, from these buys, from these buys, I was only looking for buys for the whole session, which is actually what I want to do as a scalper. Stick to one bias unless it's really proved wrong. There you go. I was still looking for buys. Pullback buys, pullback buys, pullback buys, break below buys, break above buys. And that would have been a possible entry. And just no need to target 1820. What you need to target is simply the previous highs on the left hand side. So you enter here, that's like a 30 pip range. Your stop loss was like 10 pips. That's a 3-to-1. Yes, maybe you take there when you see the highs being reached, and that's more than enough. Now you don't care. Instead, if you were possibly, I don't know what will actually happen on the price action. If you now switched to the bearish side, so after this section, okay, you said that your analysis was that at 1820, that's where you would have switched your bias into a sells, because it's a high time frame supply zone, whatever. That's where you could have said, okay, now this is a possible first stop of 61. Yeah, we'll say that it's a 61.8 retracement. That's where I will take these sells with this stop loss over here to take advantage of this overall move. Let's see if it actually happens on the bearish side. Okay, if you took this stop loss, as you can see, would have been immediately stopped out. 75% retracement so far still holding. So I don't know if you would like to re-enter at 75% here. But yeah, even that would be a loss. So that's why what I would love to, as a trader, is to simply stick to one singular bias. Because looking for sells over here, look at what he did. it made me already shift my analysis, my bias. So I was in buys from here, down here, up there, identifying 75% retracement, taking a buy. I took a buy here. I closed the first scalp over here. Now let's say over here at this candle, I closed it. But look at the price action. Is the price action done, or the bullish price action? The market. What is the market telling me right now? It's telling me that we broke above these previous highs, and we are staying consistently above. We are failing to make new lows. We are failing to make new lows. If that was the trade idea, that's a single candle showing you that trade idea. But after that, the price action is only showing you bullish price action, because we are staying there, failing. Actually, we are making higher highs because we break above. We break above and we retested multiple times. We break above and we retested it. So as you can see here, we retest the same highs and then we break above. Now we are back at 1820. So that's why shifting into different biases, it's so dangerous. It's really dangerous because it shifts your perception of the market at the real time. So instead of entering one here with like 13 pips up there for more than 2 to 1, let's say down here it's still a 2 to 1, yeah, 2 to 1, absolutely fine. And then possibly re-entering over there with a stop loss right below here. It's a 7 pips, 8 pips stop loss. What are you targeting? You're not targeting 9 pips, but you're targeting these previous highs, 2 to 1. Yes, you are betting on a breakout, but still to target these previous highs on the left, this previous PSA. Instead, you take possible 1 or 2 losses simply because you shift your bias and you want to take all the trades. And yeah, that's, of course, as a day trader, you say, yeah, but why didn't you take just one trade and that's a 5 to 1 risk to reward? Yes, but my style is scalper. I analyze and try to analyze the market as scalping wise, and that's how I really want to do it. So I hope you guys enjoyed. It's quite a long video, I would say, and I hope I will see you guys tomorrow.